and welcome to AWANI Global. I'm your host, Fanashe, and today we are honored to have with us the German ambassador to Malaysia, His Excellency Dr. Peter Blomeyer, to talk about improving Malaysia and German ties, strengthening ties in all aspects, not just trade, and also to look at how we can improve our relations further. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Let's first talk about the German Unity Day that just happened on the 3rd of October to commemorate German reunification in 1990s. I'm pretty sure it was an exciting time for Germans, not just in Malaysia, but also, abroad, at home. Talk to me a little bit about the significance of this day.
Yes, thank you. This is now 34 years ago, which is a long time for young people, but for the older ones, they still remember that. Mm-hmm. It was a great moment, a moment of tremendous joy in Germany, because we overcame at that time our separation, the division of Germany, which lasted more than 40 years. Germany was divided after World War II, and there was a death strip going right through our country of 1,300 kilometers. With mines, with automatic self-shooting devices, and there was a wall around Berlin of more than 100 kilometers. More than 1,000 people died at this border. And now in 1989, on the 9th of November, the German people managed to overcome this wall. They danced on the wall. All of a sudden, the communist system crumbled, and Germany could be reunified. But it has a significance which goes way beyond the German interest to unite. There was also the Iron Curtain which lifted. The world at that time was divided in two blocks. Right. And this division was over at that time. And the European unification could follow the German unification. So I would dare say that it was an event of significance for the whole world.
Right. I mean, it's definitely a sight to behold at the Berlin Wall, because I was there just, way back when. And it's definitely a sight to behold, and it definitely evokes a sort of emotion when it comes to the struggle and the plights of, people in Germany at the time to unite. And it's a lesson for all of us here, not just in Malaysia, but like you said, all over the world, when it comes to, how Germans persevere during tough times. So definitely. Was there any celebration for German Day Unity here in Malaysia?
Oh yes, we had a very nice concert last week in the Petronas Towers, in this beautiful concert hall of the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra, with 4 pianists, and one of them was a Malaysian pianist, He Mei Lin, yes, a very famous Malaysian pianist.
Were they playing like German folk songs, or?
They were playing actually from classic over jazz to world music and even rap, everything. And they blended it, and these are 4 musicians who played very well together. Right.
I mean, I'm definitely going to try and be there next year if you're going to hold another event in FPO. Right. Let's talk about strengthening ties between Malaysia and Germany. As we all know, Germany is one of Malaysia's key trading partners in the EU. And, our relationship is centered on a lot of sectors, machinery, automotive, manufacturing, electrical and electronics equipment, chemical products even. So how do you see this relationship growing, and where is it at now, you feel?
Well, as you mentioned, it is very strong and thriving. It's getting better with every year, I should say. We have a constant flow of demands from German companies to our embassy, also to the Malaysian Chamber of Commerce, demands to inform how conditions are in Malaysia. Malaysia is considered a top investment destination for German companies because of its strategic situation, location between the two oceans, between continental and insular Asia, and also because of the command of the English language,
Right.
for instance. And there are many other conditions to note. We could not single out a certain a branch of the economy which is better than the others, because there are so many. And a specialty of our economy in Germany is that we have a great variety of different sectors in which companies are active. You mentioned a few of them. And we have many small and medium-sized companies who are active, who are also, by the way, here in Malaysia. We have over 700 German companies here. So yes, these relations in the economic field, they are strong and very well.
Recently, there was a day to commemorate, German SMEs' presence here in Malaysia. Do you mind elaborating a bit further how German SMEs and our SMEs here collaborate, and what sort of relationship do we have?
Well, German companies here, it's the SMEs, but it's of course also our big companies. They come here with a long-term perspective. They look at the country. When they invest here, they come to stay. They invest, they employ. Over 60,000 Malaysians are employed by German companies here. They pay taxes, and they do a know-how transfer. And what is also very important, they teach. They pass on their skills to the young people. They are engaged in TVET. Right. So this is what they can bring in. They receive a very good environment, also in politics and administration. It's very forthcoming. There are a few obstacles one can also mention, I think, that is similar also to other countries. Yes. One of them is that our companies are in need of green energy. They need energy from renewables for their carbon footprint. And I think Malaysia has embarked on a course where it wants to develop green energy. You have your energy transition roadmap. You have your commitment to become carbon neutral by 2050. But I think this now must be implemented. Companies asking for that. The other point which companies often make is that they have a need for skilled labor. They don't find enough skilled labor here. And I think there also something is moving. The TVET landscape in your country is changing, is being built, newly built up. You will have a national TVET council. Right. We, as Germany, have been invited to participate at that. So we hope that these things will also evolve. Right.
I mean, I want to touch a bit on TVET a bit later. But I mean, you're right with regards to the demand for clean energy, the demand for renewable energy. It's not German specific. It's every other countries, every other investors that comes here in Malaysia, and it's something that I feel that our government is going full swing on it. But yes, implementation has always been a bit of a slow uptake, but I think we're getting there. With regards to the new industries here, we have just a couple of recent years a lot of data companies, big techs, investing into our economy. Do you see a space for Germany or German companies to be in this landscape?
Yeah, well, German companies have a lot to offer in these new high-tech industries. If you think of Industry 4.0, which has been invented in Germany, also in the Internet of Things, especially also in green industries. I think that what Malaysia is also interested in, after what I can sense, is a circular economy, where we have a lot of companies being very active, solar energy. In all these fields, you will find German partners.
Right. I mean, we're definitely optimistic about how we can grow our relationship a bit further. We mentioned TVET just now, and German's dual vocational training system has been a key influence in shaping Malaysia's TVET sector. How do you see collaborations with regards to Malaysians preparing itself or propelling its TVET industry, and where are the gaps, do you think?
Well, we have introduced the dual system in the 90s. It was Mahathir still who brought it here. And then an institution was formed, the German-Malaysian Institute, the GMI, which has now more than 4,000 of students. We also have the Penang Skill Development Center. And at both institutions, the German companies participate. And the dual system means that they offer jobs to young people who then are being trained on the job. And at the same time attending school to get the theoretical background for their specific profession. And what we would like to ask for is that more Malaysian companies also participate at that, because Germany, of course, alone, the German companies cannot make a change. It's also necessary that Malaysian companies participate at the system, and we have also proposed that you could start with your government companies, because the government has a direct influence on them. And your government was very positive on this, and we also hope that this, as time goes by, will be implemented.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we are also looking to improve with regards to our TVET industry, and having Germany on our side with regards to training and also offering jobs. It requires a lot of collaboration, a lot of partnership that are long-lasting, I feel, and that are more active. So you're right on that, and getting on GLCs as well is also important, I feel. Right, perception of Malaysia's economy's growth with regards to German investors. What is the general sentiment, especially with ringgit's improving, our political landscape is somewhat more stable now. What's the business community's perception with regards to Malaysia's economic stand right now?
Overall, it's a good perception. You mentioned you have a strong growth, you have low inflation, your currency is stable, has strengthened also in the last months. So there is a positive trajectory which is being sensed by German companies, and they have an interest to come here and to invest. We have seen what can happen if you solely concentrate on one country, for instance, with Russia, therefore we want to diversify. We want to diversify our supply chains, but also our investments. And so then the question is, where would you turn to? And Malaysia is a perfect destination to go to, and companies see that. However, investments also follow trade. And I think it could be of advantage if we now get to EU-Malaysian free trade agreement. I think that the way has been paved for it. When I arrived here, like 4 years ago, there was a major step forward, and the EU and ASEAN having agreed on a strategic partnership. And now I think it is also necessary for Malaysia to go ahead with the negotiations on a free trade agreement with the EU. The government has decided positively on it, and let's get it on now. Companies are waiting for it on both sides, I think.
Right. I think from what you mentioned just now, just from what we've discussed, a lot of the foundations are already there, a lot of the measures are already there. It's just with regards to going full swing and going full force, because like you said, companies are waiting, people are eager to propel their businesses, to get engaged in all this, like FTA, for example. So it's definitely good to have you here to give us all a reminder for Malaysians to wake up. Right. Let's talk about, you mentioned Russia just now, so let's talk about Malaysia's role in a multipolar world. You know, in today's landscape, you know, Malaysia appears to be pivoting towards emerging economies like BRICS, for example. You know, there are existing frameworks like US and China, for example, may not fully represent the country's interests anymore. How do you perceive this growing influence of the Global South and other emerging economies on the global stage?
Well, if you look at interest, I think that Malaysia and Germany have a lot what unites them, actually. We are interested in a global order which is ruled by the international law. We are both strong advocates for the prevalence of the United Nations system. We are trading nations which depend on the freedom of navigation. So I think that that is something which we have in common and which also Malaysia pledges for in the international discussions. So if Malaysia joins BRICS, we are positive because we expect then also that Malaysia will also defend these principles within, within BRICS. Right. As for the economic impact of BRICS on accession to BRICS on Malaysia, I would not expect too much because you have already free trade agreements with China and India, so it will not really forward that. And with the other members of BRICS, you have very, very little trade. And especially I wouldn't expect too much of Russia. You have the same commodities as Russia with oil and gas. Also wood, and well, this is not a strong market for you. So I think that you should concentrate on where your investments come from. 80% of your investments come from the enlarged Western countries. So and then we are back to the EU-Malaysian free trade agreement. I think this is something which really would bring forward your economy.
Right. I think it's a matter of not putting your eggs in one basket, but as well as the basket that they're already in, trying to enhance that cooperation and trying to enhance that collaboration. Yes?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that also for the Global South, I think it is a legitimate issue for the emerging economies, also to get their share in world economies and also in the decision-making processes. This is legitimate, and we forward it. As Germany, we are looking out for global partners with whom we can also defend our values, which I just mentioned: democracy, rule of law, and human rights, freedom of navigations, prevalence of international law, respect for the United Nations system, and in all this we see Malaysia as a partner. Right.
I mean, we definitely want to be a good partner to everyone if we can. Right. With Malaysia, you know, taking over the ASEAN 2025 chairmanship, how do you see its role in navigating today's global and political and social landscape, and navigating also relations with EU, for example, with Germany, for example?
Well, I think Malaysia is like Germany. It's a medium-sized power within an important alliance. And it can make a difference, of course, especially when it assumes leadership in ASEAN. So we do hope, that's at least our expectations, that Malaysia will also look west, look towards Europe, look towards Germany, and promote common issues we can work on together. And that it will also play a role in solving international conflicts, because what we need are countries which are willing to contribute to solutions and not to stirring up conflicts. And we have enough of those countries in the world.
Right. I think Malaysia, with regards to, you know, we look west, we look east, we try to look as many ways as possible, right? To get, to be the best partner for both sides, I feel. I mean, at least that's my perspective on it.
If I may add there one thing, sure. What we are also interested in, that we will have no new blocks. I know Malaysia does not want to decide between one side or the other side, if you look at the Chinese-US rivalry. And we also believe, as Germany, that we should do everything to avoid new blocks, that we should de-escalate conflicts, and that we should try to cooperate. Because we, as Germany, we have suffered a lot under these blocks, with the border of these blocks going right through our country.
Right. I mean, definitely you guys are basically, you know, where these blocs first emerged when it comes to World War I, World War II. You guys are there at the helm of it, where, you know, alliances and axis first emerged. So there's a lot of lessons to learn from that. So I guess drawing on that, with regards to Malaysia's stand as well, you know, Germany has been a strong advocate for against anti-Semitism, whereas Malaysia has a very clear stance on global issues, but also remains open with engaging with diverse nations. How do you view the potential for both countries to collaborate on promoting mutual understanding and toleration in the face of global challenges and global tensions right now?
Well, I see both our countries strongly affected by globalization. And this is not only meant in an economic way, but also if it comes to migration. Your country has, if I'm not mistaken, 3 to 5 million undocumented people. Illegal immigrants, stateless people, people who never have received a document after you became independent, refugees, and so on. In Germany, we have a population, one can say 1/4 of our population, we are about 82 million, has at least with one parent a foreign background. So we are strongly affected by globalization. When I was young, that was not the case, but now it is the case. And we all have to learn how to deal with it. And we can see how Malaysia is dealing with it, with its different ethnicities, its different languages which are here. And we in Germany, we also have our share. Now we have 1 million Syrians, we have more than 1 million Ukrainian refugees only in the last few years. So I think we can learn from each other, we can exchange experiences, also discuss how do you deal with it. But I think that one thing which we should keep in mind is that we cannot roll back. There is no way back to a society without foreigners or without this interaction. It is there, and we all have to learn how to live with it.
And there is no issue with, say, for example, Malaysia or us in general, with our commitment to neutrality, for example. To neutrality.
Well, that's, I think, on another level. What I think that every country has, of course, its own sovereign right to decide where it stands. I would draw the line there. If I think that you have actually you have to be. You cannot be neutral when it comes to the preservation of international law. I think you should always stand in for for the validity of the international law. But that you do not want to tilt to one side or to the other side, that's your sovereign right.
I mean, definitely, I feel there's always a lot to learn from Germany, especially with its very robust history, and also with regards to trade and economics as well. We have been partners for a very long time, and we've established very good diplomatic relations. And I do hope that, with regards to what's happening around the world, we do maintain that relations and we do more to propel it even further. Don't you agree?
You just made my job description. That's what I'm here for in Malaysia.
So I'll be clocking into your office soon. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time here and for all your insights with regards to how we can improve our relations even further, and a lot more insights on navigating today's global and political landscape. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time here, and we hope to have you again very soon. I'm Fana Shea. This is AWANI Global. Thank you for watching.